Hello, we're back. Hi, friends. Give me a second here. Turn the camera off in between streams. Sorry, that took a little bit longer than expected. Had to make sure we got something to eat, and my partner had done a bunch of stuff in the garden they wanted me to see. So, just gonna quickly make sure that YouTube knows we're not live with Minecraft anymore. Just in case somebody comes in and goes, oi, this isn't Minecraft. There we go. Finishing the Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword playthrough of Elden Ring. Twitch.tv/pixelriffs. Wonderful. Okay. So, last time in Elden Ring, we had gotten as far as Gideon with our Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword run. I had tried another attempt at getting to the DLC, which took, you can just about see the time there, less than 2 hours to get to Gravesite Plain. So I'm excited about that for when we do that on stream next time. We're going to continue with Amogus. Amogus, who is the wielder of the Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword, AMOG. We are at Lanedale Ashen Capital. I've not done any leveling since the last stream. We're still level 137, so if we want to, we could go and continue scaling Arcane if we want to do a little bit of rune farming in this. I need another 50k or so to level up again, so I'm not certain we'll be able to do that with the runes that we've got, but I might just quickly go and shoot a couple of birds just for the sake of not losing a ton of runes to Godfrey if we end up dying, which we might, because I don't know quite how this weapon is going to fare against Godfrey, but we will see. In the meantime, it has been a while since I used the Serpent Bow. In fact, I don't know if I ever used the Serpent Bow, did I? Maybe I did, because I must have leveled up somehow. But I've not got the same amount of points in Dexterity anymore. I think because at the time I was using Radagon's Saw Seal. So there we go. Now we can actually wield this bow. That must have been it. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Well, we can shoot the bird a few times. Get a few extra runes. Dump off this next level, probably by getting 38 Arcane. And then we'll go fight Godfrey. I expect it'll be easy enough because the Ash of War on this, I say easy enough, it's probably still going to be a tough fight, but the Ash of War on this gives us a pretty solid, fast counter-attack opportunity after the bosses that we're about to face finish one of their long combos. And we also have a decent amount of resistance to holy damage when it comes to fighting Radagon and Elden Beast, thanks to the high Arcane stat. But we'll have to see how that goes once we're in the fight. So we'll do 2 of these. That should get us most of the way there, and then if we got some golden rune 1s, we'll just pop 2 of them. So pumped for these boss fights. I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. It should be good. Let's throw an extra point into Arcane, which gets us tons of damage still. There's a weapon that we're about to get to in a couple of weapons time. After Ansbach's bow and Ansper rapier, the Anvil hammer is a DLC weapon that currently has the, I think, highest damage values in the game. Like, it genuinely does the most damage of any weapon unbuffed. Which is wild. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that shakes out for us. Of course, if we don't end up getting close to beating the final bosses towards the end of the stream, I do still have the Mimic tier fully leveled up. So we could always bring Mimic tier in for the final fight if we're having issues with it. Because I really want to start the next stream with a straight run to the DLC. And potentially even have time to get the bow that we're gonna be playing with. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, though, we have a date with the first Elden Lord. And if all of this goes incredibly well, which I don't know if it will, but it might, then we could always muck about for a little bit longer and fight a couple more bosses that are not necessarily in between us and the end objective. We've got the Knight's Cavalry armor still, which I think is a great armor set. A little bit of blood on it. And we could always throw in a helmet as well if we wanted to, but anything above Okina's mask makes us a heavy load. So we could go back to our champion's headbands. The original. But I kind of like getting the hair out. This is one of the new hairstyles that they added for the DLC as well, so... Don't think this date with the first Elden Lord include being bought dinner and flowers? Not so much. Alas, I am returned. We'll watch the cutscene. We'll ease in with the cutscene. Rah!
It's been a long while, Morgoth.
I like how he kind of like slightly rolls the R's a little bit like like this is Tolkien and you have to say Mordor.
Long
Keys of Gaming, welcome in.
thou fight, tarnished warrior, spurned by the grace of gold. Be assured the Elden Ring resteth close at hand.
It's in there somewhere. As the Erd tree burns. The Dude 1469, thank you for the 100 bits.
Alas, I am returned.
How long do I predict it'll take for Pigs to do this? Oh, I don't know how long it's going to take me to do this. I think I know this fight reasonably well, having done it 5 times on stream. Obviously a lot more times than that, but like having completed it 5 times.
As Godfrey, the first Elden Lord.
But I've never done this with a colossal weapon before, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, first blood to me, but only just. Should also probably drink my physic flask at some stage, but... Yeah, okay. We can get a decent Ash of War charge in. The problem is he has a lot of moves that are just poised through it and fully... Yeah. And now all of his stomps are massive shockwaves. Mm-hmm. Love this cutscene. Yeah, it's so well done. Like the gravitas that this brings is so impressive. Aaron Plays, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. Not exactly an intimidating name. Couldn't picture a Darth Godfrey. We'll see second phase. See if second phase fits the Sith title a little better. If anything, this guy is a Jedi more than he is a Sith, but... Honestly, if we brought out the Mimic tier, we would absolutely stomp this fight, I think. Don't know why I'm going for the runes. There are barely any. Honestly, we get so much damage from just, like, regular R1s with this weapon that I'm kind of tempted to just, like, slash at him like that. Dang, dude. Okay. Colossal weapons OP. Alright. Skip that part. Fine. Go for it. Yeah. I just wasn't ready for him to unleash the 10-piece combo meal, you know? Hey, Apothic. What's up? Welcome in. Did you get this far in Elden Ring? I can't remember if you ever completed the game or not. Minor spoilers, I guess. This is basically the end of the game. Yeah, he gave me fries and a shake. Definitely the shake was the part that that got me. Alright, let's chug flask. Oh, you did not? Okay, well, yeah, spoilers, but... Tree's on fire, don't worry about it. Oh, why doesn't the follow-up always hit when it's, like, that close? Alright, now he follows up with a big steppy, and we break away from that. Cool. This guy's got so many big steppies. Ow. Yeah, okay, okay. I'm not timing these super well. Yeah. He's an angry man. Does he need a Snickers? He needs a lot. He needs, I don't know, therapy, help. He needs me to not respawn. You talking about the Light Greatsword? Because the Light Greatsword is supposed to be everyone's favorite. Like, everyone loves the Milady sword from the DLC. I have not really had much of a chance to play around with it because of the nature of this challenge. It's pretty far down the alphabet. The M's. Nice. That was good. Felt clean. Okay, yeah, we can absolutely crush with that move. Oh! Oh, we love to see it. Oh, yes. And when he gets up, we can probably come in for another one of those. Then I want to make sure I have full mana for the next phase. Right, good, good. Clean. This is the part where I just got to be, like, running away, I guess. Okay, don't have the range for that one. Good to know. Oh, and this one's got to kill me. Yep. I should have been running, I was rolling. Haven't played it since launch? Yeah. Yeah, Milady is the sword. A lot of people really like the weapon style because it's got Ashes of War that let you hold stances and do certain attacks after those, and yeah, there's some fun stuff you can do chaining attacks together. I think there's a couple of weapons that let you chain fluidly between heavy and light attacks, which is something that weapons haven't previously let you do. So some people raving about that as a playstyle that I've just not had a chance to goof around with quite yet. Yeah, okay. Need to stop getting too overzealous with those ones. Ow. He's just playing golf with me at this point. Man's seen the Olympics. Whoa. There we go, okay. Steppy follow-up and roll out of that. Okay. I'm trying some stuff. Yeah, the backhand blades are a lot of people's favorite. I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of Dryleaf Arts. I haven't messed around with the bear claws too much, but I think the claws are really fun weapons to use, like the beast claw. And there's a couple in the B section of the alphabet that I'm really looking forward to. We've got 2 more DLC weapons before we have to round out the A's with base game weapons. Alright, bud. Let's do this. Let us dance, you and I. Axe throw to start. Perfect. We got the hit, but not the follow-up. Interesting. Alright, what have you got for us? Show me the goods. The intimidating walk forward is really something, huh? Alright, he won that round. Oh, okay, yeah. When you're too close to him, that's not great. Okay, Ash of War follow-up, and phase 2. Okay, now we run away from this one. We need the mana back. Okay, we got under him with that one. Pretty cool. Jump. Jump. Oh, missed that one. I think he's got a 3-step version of that later. Oh, and we're dead. Oh, not quite. Okay. Better damage protection on this armor, I guess. Okay, okay. Only got 1 flask left, so this probably isn't working out for us this time. And I gotta remember that every stomp is like... After he does the roar... Every stomp gets the shockwave. Back to school took all your money? Hey, no worries. Does this stream have enshrouded Twitch drops? Honestly, I would like to be playing that game more if I had the time for it. And obviously I have the time to play Elden Ring, so I have the time to play Enshrouded instead, but... Evidently that game is doing alright on Twitch. There's a lot of people, I guess, promoted playing it right now. It's a fun game, though. A lot of good building in that game. Oh, he didn't open with the axe throw this time. So I get a freebie. We need to slot in the Ash of War. Ginger, thank you for gifting us up to Blondie. Okay, we can grab one there. Roll forwards. Poke. I mistimed the second roll.
'Twas nobly fought.
Impulse and Skiz just did another promo stream on Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw that they were doing that. Honestly, wouldn't mind joining them one of these days. If they'd have me. It's a fun little game. I don't know what they've had in terms of, like, some people have done promoted streams where they've gotten the build from the devs that gives them access to a bunch of later game stuff. But starting from scratch in that game is pretty fun. Let's chug the flask once we're in the arena, since he gives me plenty of time. I'm assuming axe throw for this one. Yep. Again, I'm disappointed that he has... It's not that he has iframes, I don't think. He has a habit of, like, dodging the follow-up to the Ash of War, and I'm like, how? Yeah. Nice. I'll drink before we riposte. And we should be able to get him with this. Yeah, there we go. That's phase 2. I'll actually let the cutscene play here, because I feel like we never end up watching this cutscene. I skip it so much. The first stream was an endgame stream. The most recent one was a clean start. Oh, fun. I need to catch that then, I think. I've got as far as the third boss. The third, like, progression boss, at least. And, yeah, honestly, that game is really fun. Always love the lion model in this game. Well, I'm sorry that you have to watch this then, because, that lion is no more. Now his accent changes for some reason.
I've given thee courtesy enough.
This is an ex-lion.
Now I fight as Hoarah Loux. Warrior!
There he is. The man himself. Fully a Tekken character at this point. Alright. Alright, bud. Ow. Hit us with the wombo combo. Okay, okay, we know we can survive this at least. Oh, I mistimed the second jump. Ah. Powerbomb. Yeah, okay, I think the strat for second phase is just roll and poke. Like, I can't get too fancy with it unless I know I've got the final hit. Because, yeah, the recovery time from the Ash of War is just something he can poise through. He threw me on the ground. He really did. Okay. Let's go again. But I think we'll have this in the next couple of tries. Which bodes well, because this is one of the more difficult fights, but the damage output is just wild right now. Come on, throw the axe. You know you want to throw the axe. Maybe if I give you a bit more room. Nope. No axe throw today? Fair enough. Roll and poke. You got that one for free. Oh, we got a little bit of jitter there. All right, now we can drink. The golf swing, though. That's an easy punish. Alright, now we run. Do our thing. Quick drink. Kind of surprised we didn't get the stagger there, but I'll take it. Oh, we got the stagger on Hoarah Loux. I forget he keeps the poise damage through that transition. That's wild. All right, easy enough then. Good. Alright, that wasn't bad. That was not too bad. Yeah, he took enough damage from that poise, and then you can usually get a pretty easy follow-up attack. Alright, I'm putting a couple of extra points into Vigor here just for a little extra health versus Radagon, but man, that turned out pretty good in the end. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. 100%. We take those. Alright. Gonna use up the last of these. We'll go and shoot a couple more birds. Maybe get another point or two into Arcane or Vigor. Honestly, I might just load up Arcane and go for more damage. Thank you for the GGs. Honestly, that's probably the easiest the Godfrey Hoarah Loux fight has gone for me. I think that one has glowing eyes. I could be wrong. See how many runes we get. Oh, I was wrong. Okay, never mind. Let's also briefly equip Golden Scarab so that we get a few more runes a little faster. Back to Angry Birds? Yes, just for now. Just for, let's say 2 more levels, because we can get Vigor and... you know what? I want to go all the way. Let's go 4 more levels. Let's pop a Foul Foot and see if we can get 4 more levels, because then our Vigor and Arcane stats can go all the way up to the next multiple of 10. This trick is still in the game? Of course. It never left. I think it's worth them keeping stuff like this in the game, because it means players have a shortcut to playing the game the way they want to, which is really nice. You can use items quicker if you put the inventory into simple view. Yeah, I know. I've just got into the habit of doing it the way I do it, you know? Like if you do this, and then you like, it keeps the inventory like on your screen, yeah. Yeah, I just got into the habit of keeping it in like the more expanded view. At launch, there were somewhat limited respec items. Are they still limited? Larval Tears are still limited, yes. And there are only a couple of them available in the DLC, so you get most of them from the base game. One of those obscure little things many people don't know. It's true, yeah. I should really get into the habit of doing that on these playthroughs, since, again, we are going to be playing through this game hundreds more times, in theory. So I appreciate the reminder. It's that way for, like, changing equipment and stuff as well. Like, it's often better to do it in simple view. It's easier to change stuff on the fly. A lot of PvP players use that, but I just, again, never got into the habit of it. Every second saved, yeah. Yeah, Larval Tears, I think you can buy a few of them from the merchant in Shifra River, but they're still a limited amount. And then the rest of them you find on enemies or in different locations, and they are a hot commodity, especially considering people kept finding DLC weapons that they were interested in using, but couldn't respec their character every time they found one, you know? First saw me on Empires, really enjoyed the content. Thank you so much. Means a lot that people are still sticking around from the Empires days. Because that feels like it has been a while now. The bird being killed over and over as a reverse Prometheus? Yeah, kind of. Pecking birds over and over again as revenge. It would be quite funny to have a reverse Sisyphus where a boulder pushes you up the hill. But usually boulders just fall down. That's typically the role of boulders in video games. Finding all the new weapons and wanting to try them out. I used a lot in my original playthrough and they kept nerfing my builds at launch. That's funny. It always feels personal. Even though I'm sure it's not. There we go. It's been too long since Season 2. Well, I mean, yeah, we had SOS in between. I say in between as if at any time Season 3 is coming. It's not. We haven't, like, even considered it at this point. I think because a lot of the folks who are kind of the core Empires group have just been, like, busy with other stuff. Like Hermitcraft has become such a thing for Joel. Pearl and Gem, obviously. As a music nerd, do I have a particular ambient track from Elden Ring that I love? I think the soundtrack for this game is amazing in general. I think the boss fight music from the Ancestor Spirit is probably my favorite music in the game in terms of, like, instrumentation and arrangement and whatnot, but in terms of ambient music, I don't really know. Just a pain that it's a very limited resource. Yeah, I think Ollie, the Orion Sound, was playing this and was wondering if there were going to be more Larval Tears because he kept respecking his build. I think at this point I would want to start, if I wasn't playing through in the way that I am, I would want to start, like, several different characters with different specializations and have a different build for each one. So you'd start with, like, a pure strength build, and then build something for strength faith, and then build something for dex, and build something for dex int, and then maybe dragon incantations, and you'd want to do, like... Alright. You'd want to do something that allowed you to play around with each new weapon as you found it, but still accommodated for the typical stat spreads. Like this character being the strength arcane focus. Like I can think of a couple of other weapons that use that. Like we've got a strength faith weapon coming up with the anvil hammer. Ansbach's bow is just pure dex, so are like backhand blades and stuff like that, so you could just swap around those weapons with a limited palette of characters. But I like starting from scratch in this game. I quite like the going through the motions of like the early game stuff, figuring out your build on the fly and where you want to go with it from there. Fighting with train Wi-Fi, GG easy in advance. Thanks, Ulonkel. We've already beaten Godfrey, so we are headed towards Radagon and Elden Beast after this. I just have to get a couple more levels into Arcane for insurance purposes. Yeah, that is the alternative, Ruby Merlin, is just to make a single character that you take through to like New Game Plus whatever the heck, and or do a ton of grinding in the base game, which would be absurd, but yeah, you end up at level 713 and you have like full stats at that point. Will there be more Fabric Fantasy later today or soon? That was earlier today, so next stream is going to be on Tuesday. We'll do a chop-in Tuesday, but we'll mostly be chopping, I don't know, objectives. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's make sure we equip the correct talismans for this, because Spear Talisman is really handy, and Shard of Alexander is great for this Ash of War. I don't think we need to modify much else about our equipment. Stance Break and Strength seems good. Honestly, the Strength boost probably isn't giving us too much. But I don't know what else we could really add to this. Like, the Magic Shrouding Crack tier doesn't make much sense for this one. We don't have too many others. Like, Opalin Hard tier would be okay. Flame Shrouding and Stamina Recovery. Like, Stamina Recovery would not be a bad thing for this build, because you run out of stamina a lot, but honestly, I just think dealing a little extra damage is fine. I could also block with this weapon a lot more and get the deflecting hard tier from the DLC, but I don't think I want to go that far. So let's meet Radagon. And honestly, once again, I could just whip out the Mimic tier for this fight and I would probably win quite quickly, so if we don't win in the next, like, hour, I will probably just bring out the Mimic tier. Because I want to get done with this build this stream. Lovely though it has been to try something new out. If we beat Radagon and Elden Beast in, let's say, maybe half an hour, we could just go for, like, I don't know, Melania or someone. We could just goof around with it. Cheese is always good, it's true. I'm a big fan of cheese in general. Black Chatter, welcome in. Hope you're having a good one. We are at the end of Elden Ring with our 5th playthrough on the Elden Ring A-Z. We're about to fight Radagon and hopefully Elden Beast, if we get that far. I think the strat for this fight is going to be similar to the strat for the Godfrey fight. It's just roll and poke. Because, yeah, he's absolutely going to smash me with that hammer if I get cute with it and start doing the Ash of War a bunch. Nice. Yep, okay, good. Damage is looking good right now. Health could be better. And I need to remember the timing on the Thunderbolt rolls. Also, like having this amount of poise for once. That's right, get wrecked. This is so much easier than the magic build or the bow build. Obviously bodes well for Ansbach's bow next, but... I'm even fighting this kind of sloppy and doing alright, you know? Okay. Well, we're through to Elden Beast. I don't know quite how long I'm going to last. But we have Torrent for this fight now, so you know. Once again, we'll leave the cutscene playing. I think about these for thumbnails now. I'm like, I should watch the cutscenes for the sake of thumbnails. That was easy? Yeah, I mean, colossal weapons. Am I right? Like I said, the strat was roll and poke. The R1, after you roll, is honestly such a fast attack for a colossal weapon that this is a really fun sword to use. Like, I'm genuinely having a ton of fun with this one. The Beast. Yeah, Xbox controller, yeah. Playing on PC, but with an Xbox pad. Wired in. Love this cutscene. It's just so... like, it comes out of nowhere. There's obviously this cosmology that's hinted at throughout the rest of the game. This connection to the stars and all of that stuff, but it's just so out of left field when you ultimately get to this point that I think it's such a fun way of ending the game. Alright, we're not getting rings just yet. This is where we get rings, I think. So time to call the horse. Yeah. It's so easy to dodge these now you have Torrent's double jump. Oh. Again, don't have to get cute with it. Oh, didn't think he was gonna catch me with that one. Or that one, actually. Oh, okay. Fine. Man, a little extra armor and some resistance to holy goes a long way. This part, I don't think I will survive. Something tells me. Got a little bit better at surviving that part, but... yeah, he got me. Alright. I wasn't sure which one that was. Marika and Radagon make a very cool looking sword. Yeah, I mean, the whole spiral motif in this game is really something that's worth looking into if you've not seen too many of the lore videos. Almost too easy. Almost. But yeah, we know we can get there. So watch as I struggle through the next few attempts, because that's usually the way it works. You either get, like... You get 95% of the way there and you have a rough time. You get 90% of the way there and you get overconfident. Or you get 5% of the way there. Okay, that one wasn't anything. Oh, ow. Bit of an uppercut that time. Now I'm back to the health I had before. The fact that I can get in 2 attacks during that attack is pretty great. This should do it. Oh, he has like a toenail of health left. Well, that's entirely unfair. I think I deserved that. I think he cheated me for that last bit. Yeah, the struggle after a good attempt, yeah. Oh, we got a poise break. Love that. Alright, Elden Beast is below half already. So that means we're getting rings, or are we skipping rings? Okay, we're getting rings. Just one, though, that's fine. Just gonna get on the horse. Dang it. Yeah, avoiding that on Torrent is honestly kind of annoying. Like, it's as difficult as rolling it is initially. I just don't have the practice on it yet. We're still under an hour for the stream, and I'm already 2 attempts into Elden Beast. I'm not hating that. I'm not hating that. We're going to use the Rune Arc this time, just for a little extra of everything. Bit of extra stamina wouldn't hurt. Watch as Radagon stomps me this time, though. Okay. Okay. Gotta remember that he does that. I told you who's gonna get me when I used a rune art. It's so funny about that. Well, we got 5 rune arcs, we might as well use them. So funny the way it works. The minute you start using consumables, it's all over. Speaking of which, do I have any other things I could use here? Not really. I don't think we can grease this weapon. I don't have any, like, exalted flesh or anything, so... Buffs make you weak. Absolutely they do. Oh, I buffered an input there. Still got him. I'll take that. Take this too. It's such a awkward range thing, I think. Oh, again, I hit R1 twice, and it really wanted to do the follow-up. I'm on 5 flasks again. But we're good. I'll get on full health for the next phase. Oh, I'm stuck in its legs. I got stuck in its little feeble tendrils. Oh, that was the most awkward Elden Beast start I've had for a while. We'll spam the Ash of War, though. I'm not above that. Oh, it didn't go away to do the rings attack this time? This time it did. It's gotta be. Weird. Why is it not doing it? Okay, now it's doing it. So this is the Elden Ring. Alright. Gonna hop on the horse now. Just spam dodge rolls. Get around behind it. Okay. Always got to roll sooner than I expect with that one. Oh, I forgot that one follows up with an explosion. What an idiot. Alright. Okay, this is 3 rings. And of course it jitters right before it does this attack, just to give me as little time as possible to prepare. Okay. Now we're talking. What's up, buddy? Oh, okay, you're doing that again. Nice. Everyone get your one-liners ready. Elden Beast, more like Elden Yeast. That was terrible. Alright, we did it. In less than an hour on this stream with the Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword, we have slain God itself, apparently. Honestly, pretty good. Big fan of this weapon now. This was a really fun one. Obviously, it took us a while to get where we got to with the DLC and everything, but that is now 10 minutes... 10 minutes. I've beaten this game in 10 minutes, guys. I'm a speedrunner now. That is 10 hours, 34 minutes. That is our fastest run in the A to Z thus far. I'm a Colossal Weapon convert. I'm going to say it. We're going to put some extra points into Arcane because, yeah, that would have boosted the weapon's power even more. Honestly, having Arcane for that fight is also kind of a cheat code because of the amount of holy damage you do. But we're going to we're going to mend the Elden Ring. And Amogus will become the Elden Lord. And I'm going to briefly check what time the Olympic closing ceremony is supposed to happen, because I've seen 7 and I've seen 8, and I'm not sure which is which. I'm not sure if it was, it says 8 o'clock closing ceremony, so yeah, I guess it's 8 o'clock local time to me, as opposed to 8 o'clock, like, in Paris, you know? So I think, actually, we might start the next run now, because I can get to the DLC in 2 hours. I think. BBC says 7 PM UK. You see, the BBC website says 8 PM UK. But it's like 5:30 right now. Doing a dual-wield Colossal co-op playthrough with some friends. So much fun. Yeah, Black Cloud Wanderer, who's in here quite frequently for these Elden Ring streams, is currently doing a dual-wield co-op Greatswords playthrough. Or not Greatswords, but Colossal Swords.
Of how tarnished.
Yeah, 7 PM might be coverage start time rather than event. I imagine they'll do like a big kind of roundup of all of the gold medals Team GB won before the closing ceremony actually starts. And I watched a lot of them, so I'm not too concerned about that. Plus, the closing ceremony will be available to watch after the fact, so.
Will look back upon us and recall an age
What a man.
of fracture.
Look at Amogus. I really wish he had his sword in this. Pretty good, though. Pretty good. Yeah, 3 PM Eastern is 8 PM UK time, yes. He looks so happy. He does. A happy man. Right. Elden Ring, we did it. We're not going to begin Journey 2. I'm going to do my usual thing of heading back to the Round Table Hold, and we can take a look at our stats. I'll hide the camera overlays and stuff so that you guys can see all of this. 946 attack power is pretty solid. Two-handing. 50 vigor. We have 62 strength. Probably a bit overkill on strength, if anything. Putting those points into Arcane might have done more for the damage on this weapon, but The Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword is an absolute beast of a weapon. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Really happy about that. And then... yeah, plus 10 Somber. We have the Knight's Cavalry Armor. A really solid equipment loadout as well. The two-handed sword talisman buffs, I think, attack damage by 15%. Shard of Alexander does the same thing for weapon skills, and then the spear talisman just meant every attack being a counter-attack is so powerful. Like, I genuinely think this is one of my favorite weapons now. Super cool. Super, super cool. Photoshop the sword next to the throne, yeah. Right, that is where we will leave a Mogus on 10 hours, 38 minutes played here at Roundtable Hold. But we're going to be starting a brand new playthrough. I think this character is going to be the default female character, just so we don't waste too much time in character creation here. We're starting with a samurai. Their name is Ansbach's Bow. We're starting with a golden seed. And let's just get cracking here. Olympic website says 9 PM Paris time. Yeah. Alright, time for the bouncy ball. Sing along if you know the words.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength.
I got back just in time for Mad Taint. I needed some water.
Shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Hoarah Loux, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. across the fog to the lands between. To stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Are those ears in the grave with Gideon? Yes. So if you look closely at his armor, and like everything about Gideon's character, it is stylized around eyes and ears. In kind of a subtle way, but a really interesting one. So, welcome to the Ansbach's bow playthrough. Our character starts with a longbow, and we're not going to be equipping that, because we're trying to get to the DLC as fast as possible, which I've managed to do in just under 2 hours, so we should be able to do that on stream, provided I don't screw anything too much. This is a really cool method that I found via YouTube on a channel called Soul Obsession. So big shout out to them. It's Soul like Dark Souls. Soul Obsession is the channel. We're going to skip the Grafted Scion fight entirely by just dying as soon as your health bar shows up like that. You know that you're in a boss fight, and so the death there is scripted anyway, so it'll take us straight to the Stranded Graveyard. We're going to skip the cutscenes. Run straight this way. This is going to look a little bit like the method you might have seen some speedrunners take on if you've seen speedruns of this game. So we're starting as a samurai with a golden seed, which means we have an additional flask from the get-go. I'm going to skip getting some of these graces. We might be back here later. Our first thing we need to do is start the game like usual, buy a crafting kit, get the horse. And we need to stop by a couple of places that I normally ignore because I'm not somebody who uses a lot of the consumable items in this game, but now it's kind of crucial for the strategy we're about to employ, right? So we'll touch the first step, Grace, because we need to walk back here a little later. We're going to talk to Varre. And Varre's quest is going to become important because to get to the DLC, we need to beat both Radagon and Mohg. So Varre's quest is going to be important for us to get to Mohgwyn Palace without having to reach the Consecrated Snowfield, but we've been doing that on basically every other playthrough in order to get a bunch of runes to begin with. In this case, though, we're going straight there for the Mohg fight once we've beaten Radagon and Godric. The reason we need to fight Godric and Radagon is so that we can get into Lanedell and acquire Mohg's Shackle, which will make the fight against Mohg super easy. In fact, in Soul Obsession's method, you can beat Mohg basically without him hitting you at all. Like, the whole purpose is that you kind of stun lock him, which is actually pretty incredible. We're going to get the Church of L.A. Grace. I've modified the route slightly from the one you see on Soul Obsession's YouTube channel because there's a couple of things in particular I want to keep around for this build. But we're going to get this golden rune because we skipped the tutorial cave. And this gets us 400 runes we can use to buy a crafting kit. And then it's off to Gatefront to make an accord with Melina and get the horse. We're going to grab that. And we're going to say bye to Kale for now. We'll see him again briefly later. As usual, we're going to run over to Gatefront. As we go through the woods, we're going to be picking up some root resin, which is one of the 2 crafting ingredients we will need to craft bleed grease. The second can be found at Fort Heights, so we'll be getting some of that later as well. And there's also a really great place that you can farm root resin that's like in Stormhill. But there's a couple of pieces of it here which we'll grab quickly. And I think there's some over by a tree here as well. So that just gets us a little head start on what Soul Obsession recommends. Maybe there isn't any around here. Maybe it's other crafting materials. No worries, we'll get plenty of it soon enough. As usual, the Gatefront Ruins is the first place that we get hold of Torrent. We'll be going and getting the map fragment in just a second. But we don't even need the wet blade from the camp. We're basically just going in as is.
Have you heard? They sir, but I can play turning.
Going to skip through all of Melina's dialogue. We're not going to be watching any of the cutscenes or anything this time around, just to get it to the DLC nice and quickly. I'm going to increase my flasks, but then we just need to apply the Spectral Steed Whistle. I'm even going to keep the Memory of Grace for a moment here. I'm going to grab the map just because I like having it, not necessarily because we need it for anything. Just because it's good to get my bearings every so often. And now, we're going to ride up through this gate as per usual, grab a couple of golden runes on the way. If they're easy and we can spot them, then we'll get them. Oh, it's the first time in a while that guy's hit me. So we're going to go get the golden seed at Stormhill Shack. We're going to touch the grace. And we're also going to talk to Marika, even though you don't, strictly speaking, need to, because it's actually kind of nice to get Marika's whole thing, get the spirit jellyfish. We shouldn't need the accessory that you get from having the spirit jellyfish summon, but it's kind of nice to make sure we do some of this. We also need to grab some stone sword keys, and there's an easy one here.
Everyone who only to have that, you know, it's quite a... You're heading to...
The most important thing is learning how to sit sideways, of course.
I want to on nothing but a... Why can you take... And it'll be glad...
Alright, cool. We have the jellyfish now. Most important companion. Did I get the golden seed? I did. Okay, good. I was, like, confused about whether or not I picked it up on the way. So from here, we're going to ride up to the hill with the giant on it to get the strength knot crystal tier for the flask of mixed physic. Thank you, Ginger, for popping a link to Soul Obsession in the chat. I highly recommend his video on this. It's so thorough and has a really, really important, like, strategy to stunlock Mohg, which we're going to be needing a little later. I'm going to drop down here, ride south to War Master's Shack to grab the Grace. Get a bit more root resin as we go. There's loads of it in this forest. But then there's 3 here. Sometimes it spawns 3 in the same place, which is amazing. Now, quickly, while it's nighttime, we're going to go back to Church of LA and talk to Rani to get the Spirit Calling Bell. Again, we're not using Spirit Ashes for this, but I just like to start these quest lines off so that we don't end up screwing with them too much later.
I was entrusted by torrents. 'Tis a bell of summon them. The spirits will now. It is that. Forgive my doubt. We shall. How long will before the time?
All right, cool. Farewell to Rani. We're going to walk back to the first step. And from here, we're going to do what we usually do on these early stages of a playthrough. We're going to drop down for a gold pickled Foulfoot. Because, of course, we are going to get a bunch of runes from killing Grail. The Samurai class starts with a Samurai sword that has a bleed effect on it. So, being a bleed weapon, it's put us in a position to go and kill Grail without needing to acquire any other weapons. And also the Samurai class starts with a particular mix of strength and dexterity stats, which is perfect for this build. We only need to level our dexterity a few points, and the rest of them can be put into vigor. So we'll ride on down here. There's a few items we need from around Agil Lake. And as before, I think it's going to be fun to grab all of the graces. Fun, he says, as we ride through this field of screaming corpses. It's going to be a good idea to come down here and grab the grace just in case we need to get hold of anything from around these areas later on in the run. So we'll grab this Seaside Ruins Grace. We don't need to talk to Yura. Normally you'd want to talk to Yura at this point because normally when you're fighting Mohg, you want to make sure that you have the Purifying Crystal tier, which you get by beating Eleonora at the end of Yura's quest line. But we're not going to worry too much about that today. From over here, Agil Lake South, we're going to grab this Grace because this gets us easy access to Darrowill's Everjail and the Weeping Peninsula. Before we do anything else, we're going to swing north a little bit. Get hold of another gold pickled foulfoot. And a somber smithing stone 1. Going to avoid these bats. But anytime we ride through a graveyard, I'm also going to be collecting a few golden runes, just for the sake of having them on us later. If we miss a couple, that's okay, though. The second gold pickled foulfoot is up here. We're approaching this from a different angle than I normally do. But we can just grab that. And then continue north. Should be able to drop down here. Cross over the road, avoiding the Knight's Cavalry. And avoiding the carriage drivers. And we'll pick up this. So we'll need a somber weapon for this run. We're going to walk back to Agil Lake South. Although from here, really what we want to do is circumnavigate the camp that's up here on top of the cliff and then drop down to Fort Height. Skipping the part where we need to ride through the Mistwood, but we'll be riding back through the Mistwood instead. Excuse me, folks. So we're going to be dropping down on this other side, aiming for a patch of cliffside gravestones that's going to let us drop down towards Fort Height. They should be over here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. So we can hop there, right off this side, drop down. And once again, this puts us in range of this little graveyard, guarded by wolves, where we can grab a few more golden runes as we dash on through. The exact number of golden runes we get here is not at all necessary. It's just, like, good to have them for later. So we'll get the Fort Height Grace, because we'll need to come back to the Mistwood one way or another. Fort Height is a reasonable way of doing that. We're here for two things. We need to get the Dectus Medallion fragments, and we need to get some blood roses, along with, I guess, the third thing, is the cookbook that tells you how to make blood grease. There's also conveniently a golden seed right here, so we'll grab that. We can step around these fellas, including the Mad Pumpkin heads. Rush in through here. And this is the part where it gets a little dicey, because there's a lot of enemies here that we need to avoid. Including the Mad Pumpkin head, who's now followed me through the gate. And there's a lot of explosive barrels around. But we've got the cookbook now that teaches us how to make blood grease. Want to avoid being set on fire if at all possible. And we just need to dash up these stairs. Oh, we got one of them killed. Nice. Just to stop that guy attacking me. And then if we got unlucky, there's a knight following us up here. If we got lucky, doesn't seem like the knight is following us at all. So we can make it up here, obtain the Dectus Medallion, and we should be able to warp out at that stage, because I don't think anyone's aggro on us anymore. Those were rodents of unusual size, yes. Okay, great. So we can warp out of here. Anytime we want to get blood roses, we're probably going to warp back to Fort Height. But for now, at least, we have everything we need to craft some blood grease. Now we're going to ride north through the Mistwood, via the Mistwood ruins, so we can hear Blythe howling as we pass. And then we can talk to Carle about that later. This is omitted from Soul Obsession's video about this, and the only reason I do it here, we can also pick up some more root resin in the forest as we go. The only reason I do it here is because it helps with the questline stuff later on, if we want to continue with Rani's quest. And Blythe gives you a Somber Smithing Stone 2 for assisting with the Darrowell fight. It also makes the Darrowell fight a lot easier if you have trouble with that fight, which we shouldn't do because we'll have a pretty decent weapon for it, but we get the map as we travel through here, and of course, avoiding the bears, we make for the third Church of Marika, where we get the Flask of Wondrous Physic. I've got my notes for this up on my third monitor, which is how come I keep glancing up at the top right of where I'm looking at. Probably the top left for you guys. Blood grease does sound disgusting. I entirely agree. I think honestly it is disgusting. But in this case it is made out of roses and not actual blood. We'll get the Sacred Tear here as well. We'll touch the Grace in case we need to walk back here later. This is one of many locations we can walk back to. And of course, from here, we're going to hop through the windows of the church, head down into the river, and take the transporter to Dragon Barrow. It is top right for you? Okay, yeah, I flipped the camera, huh? So that makes sense. Okay, here in Dragon Barrow, we're going to do the usual thing of riding down via the Golden Seed here, tagging the Farum Great Bridge Site of Grace. Cluster Hugs, thank you for the 17 months. Once we have this Site of Grace, we're also going to be taking a quick detour to grab a scarab that Soul Obsession picks up later in the route. I'm just going to do it now because it's here and it's easy. So inside this little cluster of ruins, there is a Teardrop Scarab, which gives you the Somber Smithing Stone 9. It'll usually get stuck up against these ruins, so it's nice and easy to just kill. Probably should be two-handing the sword for a little extra damage. It gets staggered several times as well, but there's not really anywhere it can go, so fortunately this is a nice straightforward kill, and it doesn't even take away any of your stamina because you're not in combat, so we now have a Somber Smithing Stone 9 to upgrade stuff with a little later. We're going to do a usual ride across Farum Great Bridge, avoiding the attention of Flying Dragon Grail, and in another quick deviation to Soul Obsession's route, I am going to be harassing the Knights Cavalry on the bridge down there like we usually do for some extra runes. We're not going to be popping the Foul Foot here, but that's just for a few extra runes going into Vigor and Dexterity and everything. I think he even visits this graveyard to pick up the runes from here. But he doesn't cover picking up the runes from the Knights Cavalry down here, which conveniently enough, we're still on our first in-game night. So the Knights Cavalry is here, although, as per usual, I might have a hard time actually tricking this guy into falling off the bridge, so bear with me while we attempt this a couple of times. Gonna pass him on the right-hand side so we don't get attacked with the axe or the polearm, whatever it is he has. We'll ride up into this forest, head down here, up onto the tree branch, jump off the horse, and he falls. Amazing. First try. So that guy drops about 42,000 runes, which is amazing. That's the smoothest it's happened for me, I think, for a while. Like, when I was trying this the other day, that genuinely took a few attempts, so GG. Alright, I'm going to quickly scroll down on my notes, so bear with me. Right, there we go. So one of the other reasons it's not a good idea to get a ton of runes right away is that we are going to be dying shortly, or at least using the Memory of Grace accessory or talisman or whatever this thing is, item, to return to a previous site of grace without our runes. But we can spend all of our runes before that, so that shouldn't be an issue. Made me sound like one of the chipmunks. Oh my goodness. Hopefully that's not happening across the entirety of Twitch, because this is a time when I have to focus and I can't really mess with my settings too much. Okay, as long as I sound normal to you, Ginger, that's great. Alright, so we're going to touch grace here at Fort Faroth. And we're going to spend our runes. It's important that we don't level up dexterity to more than 20.
Forgive me to determine if you had. It seems torrent, whereas I'm in.
But we're going to refuse going to the round table hold for now. Instead, she's going to turn our runes to strength, or in this case, to dexterity. We want to level that up to 20. All the other points are going into vigor or endurance. And since we have enough runes here, we can add one more level to that. And then we're going into Fort Faroth with, like, only a handful of runes. I might put one into endurance now. There we go. 273 runes is very losable, so that's fine. We'll head into Fort Faroth. As usual, we're here to get the second half of the Dectus Medallion and Radagon's Source Seal, which is actually integral to the build that Soul Obsession recommends for this. Was not expecting to get that badly poisoned, but it wouldn't let me climb the ladder for some reason. But this shouldn't be an issue. As long as we don't take too much damage, we'll be fine. Hey, Blackcloud, welcome in. We are now on the 6th run. This is the Ansbach's Longbow run. We are playing as Ansbach's Bow, spelled B-E-A-U. I don't know, she's an old flame. And we're on our way to the DLC in under 2 hours. This is going to be real fun if we can pull it off. It's gone pretty well so far. We need to grab this golden rune 12 and avoid being attacked by this rat, if I can possibly help it. I'm only going to heal here just because I don't want to take more damage from these rats and miss out on my chance for rolling down and getting the Source Seal. But once we have this, we're going to use the Memory of Grace and warp out, so we don't die. And now, here at Grails, we're going to quickly increase our flasks. I should probably actually work on the mixed physic now before I forget. And we'll add the Crimson Crystal tier to it for now, but we'll need another one later. We're going to add the Blood Grease over here. And we're going to add the Gold Pickled Foulfoot to the pouch. If she's a lady, wouldn't the name be Belle instead of Beau? Yeah, I didn't really look into the best configuration of that. But no worries, here we are. Let there be close quarters battle. So as per usual, we're going to kill Grail, pop a Gold Pickle Foulfoot at the last minute and get just under 100,000 runes. We've got Blood Grease on the Samurai Sword, which should deal a little bit of extra bleed, just to make this slightly faster, but the Blood Grease is going to be essential to our methodology a little bit later. Yeah, speedrunning to the DLC is going to be pretty essential for future DLC runs, because otherwise it's going to take a long time for us to get past Mohg in some situations. There we go, there's our next bleed. Bleed Reese is going to run out in a second. We could keep it just attacking with the Samurai Sword, but it's often a good idea to re-up the Bleed Grease anyway. Alright. This is probably going to take 2 more bleeds. So once the blood grease runs out in a second, we're just going to be fighting with the samurai sword. And on our next bleed, we pop the foul foot, as per usual. Should be another 5. And then 1 or 2 more. And there we go. So with that done, we head back to the Grace. Much richer. We're going to put this into, I think, 35 Vigor and a couple more points in Endurance. And we're also going to equip Radagon's Saw Seal. From here, another quick deviation to Soul Obsession's route for this. We're going to head down to the Divine Tower of Caelid, which you can see there on our right. We're going to get another Somber Smithing Stone, which only means we don't have to take a difficult detour through the pipes in the Lanedale Catacombs. We're obviously going to avoid the dragons, because we're not really in a fit state to fight any dragons other than ones that are ill and lying on the ground. So we're going to go and kill this one, which is one of the scarabs that explodes when you kill it, but that shouldn't be an issue here. Obviously, we do have to catch it. Alright, that gets us Somber Smithing Stone 8, which is really nice to have because you don't have to go through a bunch of the pipes in Lanedale in order to get hold of one of those later. Now we're going to ride back up to where we would normally go next, which is the way to drop down to get to Church of the Plague. We're going to ignore the dragons as per usual. I don't know if this is any quicker than getting the Somber Smithing Stone 8 from the Catacombs sewers later. I just really hate the sewers, so don't want to spend much more time there than is necessary. Alright, we'll hop down here. I should also note that this is going to be a departure from my original rules for this, which is that we couldn't upgrade any weapon other than the main weapon for the run to maximum level. We're going to have to do it just for the sake of how much damage this weapon needs to do to stunlock Mohg, so we're going to have to upgrade the Bloodhound's Fang all the way to plus 10. Alright, we get the Sacred Tear. We've got the maps as well. Before we go and fight Margit, I'm going to go down to the Bridge of Sacrifice. And we're going to get a couple more of the Sacred Tears from the Weeping Peninsula, just because it's a little bit easier to do it that way. and it's just for the sake of like safety for the run, because we have to fight Radagon. The Radagon fight is still pretty tough. We do our usual thing of running across this bridge as quickly as possible. We'll grab that smithing stone cluster. We'll grab one stone sword key. We'll grab this grace in case we need it for later. We'll get up the cliff here and go around this bluff over here, hop down, take a tiny bit of damage from the fall. Oh, well, not even this time. That's good. Maybe I'd upgraded my dexterity enough that I didn't take any fall damage on the horse. Only plan on leveling up thematic weapons to max. Yeah, for this it was just necessary to do for the quick way to get through Mohg. So yeah, we're going to hop up on the Spirit Spring. We'll get to the Church of Pilgrimage over here, and then we'll go around the western side of the peninsula to get the Church of Marika tier that's over there. And then that should be all we need to do on the peninsula right now. There's nothing here that's really going to give us too much trouble, so I'm not even going to tag the grace there. If we want to come back to the Church of Pilgrimage for any reason, then maybe we can do that later. No worries, Nordic. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Yeah, I still don't know if I ever want to do a Soul Level 1 run. I think I honestly enjoy upgrading weapons and playing the game the intended way more than I enjoy the challenge of, like, beating somebody without upgrading yourself, you know? Obviously, like, the weapons can be modified, it's just that the player's stats can't be improved. But I'm not into that for some reason. It's just about, like, doing the fights perfectly, right? You have to, like, know the game really well. I think I know the game reasonably well, but I still don't think I have the reflexes. So now we're here, we're going to head back to the Church of LA. We're going to buy the finger snap gesture, or we're going to obtain the finger snap gesture from Carle by asking him about the Howling in the Mistwoods. And we're going to buy a ton of arrows, which we won't need for the run immediately, but we might need them later. It's a really great way of ditching all of those runes, just in case one of these fights goes horribly wrong. And Ansbach's bow is going to require us to use a lot of arrows later, so we might as well stock up now to get rid of some of those excess runes. But now we make our way back to the Mistwood to meet Blythe. And remember, this is purely so that Blythe gives us a Somber Smithing Stone 2 after Darrowell's fight. This isn't essential. You can fight Darrowell anytime you want to. But in this case, we just need to finger snap. I know where this is now.
The name's Blood. He fled somewhere. Come tell me if I can offer you up.
Alright, that should be enough to trigger trigger Blythe's participation in the Darrowell fight. Your first playthrough, you were getting some sketchy vibes from Melina and didn't accept her offer. Yeah, it's so funny that they give you a yes-no decision there when, like, you can't level up or use the horse until you say yes. There are people who do, like, a maidenless playthrough where they just don't ever accept Melina's accord, and she follows you into the DLC if you don't say yes. It's really funny. Okay, so Soul Obsession will recommend that you use Blood Grease here. I'm not going to because I'm going to summon Blithe. I've got my Mixed Physic Flask. And so once Darrowwill spawns in, we can just unload with Unsheath.
Darrow. Rotting in a cell is no true justice.
And we'll get a decent crit if we can actually land it, which we don't, but that's fine because then Blithe will come and help us. So then I'll get the crit later anyway. Also, your health is so much at this point that you actually can't die all that easily. Like, it genuinely takes a lot of Darrowwill's attacks to hurt you at all. But either way, we are now going to be equipping Bloodhound's Fang, and this is the weapon we're going to use for the rest of the run. We actually don't have enough dexterity or strength. I think it's strength. We don't have enough strength to wield this normally, but you can two-hand the weapon, and Radagon's Source Seal adds to my strength totals. So,
Right. I'll have to work for it. Don't say I'm not.
now we can get the Somber Smithing Stone too, and we can also ask Blithe about EG, or at least he can tell us about EG. So that way when we meet EG later, we have a much better chance of getting the Carrion Filigree Crest, which means a better return on our investment when it comes to using the Ansbach's bow skill. I think that should be everything up until the fight with Margit. Oh, except for we need to walk back to the Church of LA, do our own blacksmithing a couple of times, and upgrade the sword to level 2. Which we could probably still fight Margit without that, because this is a very good sword, but it'll give us the edge, and all I need to do is pop one more golden rune, and we should have enough for blacksmithing. Hey, Koi Fish Fillet, thanks so much for the 7 months. And yes, we did finish Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword in the first hour of stream. I'm really, really happy about that. Right now, we are speedrunning to the DLC. We should actually make it to Gravesite Plain today if everything goes well here. And I've tried this twice. I've been successful with this twice. The last attempt got me to the DLC in under 2 hours. So I'm genuinely pretty happy with this method. This is a video I found by a channel called Soul Obsessions, and it's a really great, quick way of getting to the DLC. Fighting Godric, Radagon, and Mohg in under 2 hours. Alright. I'll rest at the Grace here to de-aggro those enemies. We're going to go out here to fight Margit. We will be using Blood Grease for this one. And we could, of course, summon Roger if we wanted to distract him. So, either way, this should be a pretty decent fight. We're going to two-hand Bloodhound's Fang. I'm going to skip the Margit cutscene. This is everyone's favorite starter weapon for a reason. Alright. That should do it. So we beat Margit for the Talisman Pouch. We get enough runes that we can put one more level into Endurance. Although, honestly, once you get to this point, you probably want to level Vigor to about 40. Margit is your aunt's name? Yeah. And we're going to be running straight through Stormvale, getting the Golden Seed, and going to fight Godric immediately.
You there? It's tightly guarded. Oh, the guards, you'll breach the cap. Well, but of course.
Alright. So he's going to open the gate. We're going to run through our usual route here, stick to the left-hand wall, get absolutely destroyed by a few ballista bolts, but roll up the right-hand wall after that and you're mostly okay. You can, of course, get the Divine Great Bridge Grace if you're worried about needing another Site of Grace on the way up this. But we're going to just make our way up here. Roll now. Dodge past this guy. And these two, if they start doing the Ashes of War with storms involved, which fortunately they haven't. Run through the courtyards. If we don't go this way, we avoid the Omen, but we're just going to stop by the lift side chamber Site of Grace to de-aggro anything that's currently following me, which should just be a dog and the Omen. He didn't get me, that's fine. Now the only thing we have to worry about is the birds on the way up here, but we're also going to meet Nefeli briefly because, again, I like having quests open for us later. Don't know how that bird ended up where it did, but we were able to handle it, so that's fine. Honestly, smoothest that's gone for me in a while, and I am grateful for that.
Be proud.
Let's go say hi to Nefeli.
Tarnished, I am I'm here by how this graft is tainted. If I ask you, call the winds run. I'm certain.
Alright, cool. So now Nefeli will aid us in the Godric fight if we need her. I'm not going to be summoning her, but you can. The reach on that sword is very nice. Yeah, somehow it was able to get the birds up in the sky very easily, which I'm quite grateful for. Anyway, roll on through these guys, because one of them usually does the storm attack, and obviously you don't want to get hit by the Stone Digger Troll. We're going to touch this Grace, and if they come in here, we should hopefully manage to rest before that. Okay, we don't have enough blood roses to make any more blood grease, so we've just got the one blood grease for this fight, but that should be enough. As usual, we will skip Godric's cutscene. We're going to apply the mixed physic, use the blood grease, get in close, deal a couple of easy attacks to Godric. The weapon art is really good for this, except when he jumps it. But also getting a stagger is not too bad. Especially when you've got blood grease on, because that's huge damage. Okay, second phase transition. Can add a little damage onto here. Run on through here, duck under his arm, deal a couple of easy R1s, get the stagger, and that's Godric. Pretty good. Not a bad fight. Our blood grease just ran out, so that was pretty well timed.
We'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
Alright, we have Godric's Remembrance now. We get a bunch of runes from that as well. Beautiful fight. Yeah, honestly, Bloodhound's Fang is pretty OP, so I can't take too much credit for this. Like, the build is bare bones at this stage, but is still really solid, and I had a little bit of practice with this on a couple of test playthroughs to make sure that I could do this reasonably well. So, once again, this is probably how we're going to get through the next few playthroughs as far as getting to the DLC goes. So, now we're back out in Liurnia. We haven't met any of the NPCs who would normally be here, which is weird, but it happens that way. So we need to grab the Sacred Tear from the Church of Irith. So we'll briefly say hello to Sorcerer Topes. Do you actually need to fight Godric? No, we could fight Renala, but Godric is just easier to get to. You can run straight to the boss chamber. It's just a nicer route to get there. Versus Renala, for whom you'd have to fight Red Wolf of Radagon and make your way through some slightly higher level enemies in Rey Lucaria. So we're going to ride down this cliff as usual. We'll probably just dodge around all of the camps and stuff here. We're going to rest briefly at this merchant and put a couple more levels into Vigor, most likely. What's this one's name? This is Ansbach's bow. There we go. 2 more into Vigor. We could probably buy the lantern while we're here as well, but I know the way through the only dark area we'll really need to focus on, so not going to worry too much about that. We'll grab the map while we're here. We're actually not going to be getting the central Liurnia map, but we'll grab this one since it's on the way. And the only thing we need to do here is get the Lasciar Ruins Grace, because we'll be warping back here a couple of times. And avoid all of the Wraithcaller attacks, but there's only one headed to me and it looked like it hit that pillar, so that's fine. There it goes. Alright, cool. So, yeah, now we've done that, we're going to head northwest. We're not going to head to that gazebo yet, but we'll be back here to take that route later. We're going to ride out to one of the little islands over in this direction. It's like a small hill that's got some Albinaurics on it. I think it's basically the one closest to the Albinauric village, which is, you know, makes sense. Yeah, this one. So all we need to do here is ride up to the top and grab the Dexterity Knot Crystal tier from here. We're going to be replacing the Crimson Spill Crystal tier in our Mixed Physic with that, so that we get an increase to both our Strength and Dex from drinking the Mixed Physic. Now we're going to head back to Lasciar Ruins. And from here, we're actually going to go to the Round Table Hold, because the next thing we want to do is go and meet Vare, and for that we need to have had a meeting with Enya so that we can have seen the 2 fingers for ourselves, and that activates Vare's whole thing with us distrusting the 2 fingers and him saying, well, Mohg's got it figured out. So we'll head to Round Table Hold, which should only take a second. We're immediately going to go in here and skip through all of Enya's dialogue.
Are you kind? Let's
anchor until it will tragic across the far, but the Cursor seek to become
let
Alright. Now we've done that. She says something about remembrances, but we don't need to worry too much about her for now. We head to Lasciar Ruins again, which should hopefully be the last time we have to be here, because we hate these ruins. All my homies hate these ruins. Mostly because of the Royal Revenant enemy that spawns, like, here. But that's fine, because we're going to Academy Gate Town instead, like we usually do. So here is something I'd seen people do and was kind of disdainful of the first couple of times I saw it, because it's one of those things that I feel like sometimes genuinely the game kind of fudges fall damage. Like, there's really specific amounts of fall damage you can take or not take. And if you jump off of this section of this and land on this rock just right, you're, like, totally fine. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that fall should kill you, but whatever, game. From here, we're heading south to the Rose Church, where we'll meet Vare for the first time. Enya means fire in Irish. That's fun for the lore. Oh, yeah. Considering the amount of, like, Old English and Irish words they have in this game, I think it's really fun. I often wonder also what the localization of that was like when in Japanese it's probably a little different.
You claimed what? My doubt.
So Vari's going to give us the invasion fingers, and instead of actually doing that, there we go. I keep jumping because I'm mashing through his dialogue. I just don't want to listen to this guy talk. Having the invasion fingers, we could do a bunch of PvP invasion if we wanted to, but we don't want to, so instead we're going to go to... there we go, a couple of extra blood roses. We're going to go to the... the Magnus the Beastclaw invasion on Altus Plateau. We would need to go there for a couple of other things anyway. Where are we at? Let me quickly check here. Oh, yeah, the other thing we need to do is go north to the Temple Quarter for the Academy Glintstone Key. So we'll do this jump again. And while I'm at it here, like, sometimes I run through this graveyard to get a few extra golden runes, but we'll be heading back that way at some stage anyway to go and talk to Vare a second or third time, so we don't need to worry too much about that right now. Can fall up to 16 meters without full damage and up to 20 without dying in normal circumstances. Yeah, it's just difficult to know what this game considers to be a meter, you know? Anyway, this is where our friend the dragon is, but we're going to obviously ignore this fight. Pick up all of the stuff from there. Most importantly, the Academy Glintstone Key. And we're going to ride north. That should at least get us out of the way of the dragon's aggro. We're going to walk back to South Lucaria Gate one more time. And from here, we should head northeast. I'm not entirely certain where it is, but this is the gazebo that we need to find that basically warps us to right where E.G. the blacksmith is. There we go. I knew I was going to take damage sooner or later. Also got to ignore that rune bear, which is easier said than done. I think it's this gazebo. It just saves us a little bit of travel time is all. Yeah, this has the teleporter. Wolf the half-wolf, yeah. Okay, so this takes us to King's Realm Ruins. We've only been on this playthrough for about an hour now. That gets us the West Liurnia map. And we do something else that I rarely do, which is... a lot of the time when I come through here, I break the invisible wall, but the way everyone else seems to do it for some reason is to spot EG's shoulder and then just double jump over that gap. So we'll grab this because we are almost certainly going to be back at EG later to do some more smithing, because apparently he's faster to get to than Hugh. We're going to use Godric's Remembrance. We're going to open up EG's shop.
Well, I presume. Oh, I am an old cotter, perhaps you. Oh, and I'm if you come, I am.
And mention that we know Blythe, so that he sells us the Carrion Filigree Crest as well. Alright. We get the Somber Smithing Stone +3 and +4. We buy the Carrion Filigree Crest. We have him level up the weapon twice. And then from here, we need to head back to the South Lucaria Gate and travel through the seal so that we can start our approach to Altus. Because the next person we have to fight is Radagon, but if we go this way first, we get a couple more bits that will level up our weapons some more, which is going to be really helpful. Hey, Nix, welcome back. I get to do my usual thing of gushing about the view of 4 belfries. I'm also going to run over this bridge here and get the golden seed, because the more flasks the better, considering we're such low level. We have plus 5 flasks already. It's soon to be plus, like, 8 or 9, I think. So we'll grab this. Clev Prof, thank you for the raid. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome. So we'll return to this seal here. Pop this to get through to the road to the Grand Dectus Lift. This game is full of lovely views, and then you have stuff like finger creepers. Yeah. What they giveth with one hand, they take away with the others. Tricked me into thinking it was root resin. It wasn't root resin. So, heading this way. Sorry about this flickering. I think it's just the time of day thing in-game, which is really annoying. But we'll get to Bellum Church. We'll grab the Sacred Tear here. Hop over the wall and keep riding. We're going to get the Dectus Lift Grace, and then we're going to double back and do Frenzied Flame Village, because there's another Sacred Tear up there, and we'll actually need the Grace to complete Vari's quest. In Soul Obsession's method, he goes and kills Irina for the blood of a maiden that you need to get into Mohg Palace, but I prefer to do it this way just so I can keep the options open for future quest lines. I am particularly interested in how that's going to work for the Anvil Hammer playthrough, because I want that to be a Frenzied Flame questline, and for that we'll need to get the Fingerprint Grape, or whatever it is, the Shibriri Grape from Edgar the Revenger. So we need to do Castle Morn for that. But we could just do Castle Morn sooner, you know? Castle Morn would not be too difficult with this sword, I feel like. And it can happen at basically any point in the progression without too many issues. So we'll go up here. We'll hop down. The only minor hiccup in this is that we do have to go and deal with the Frenzy Flame Tower. Speaking of minor hiccups. Oh. Try and duck behind the cliffs here and there where we can. Alright, that should be enough. We can hop out here. Jump off this, target the big rat, Bloodhound's Fang, and... Oh, I'm one-handing, I'm one-handing. Dang it, okay. I was like, why isn't this doing more damage? Answer is because I'm not equipped to handle this sword. But now I am, so it's fine. It's fine. Okay, that could have been a lot worse. That could have been a lot worse. Mostly because the ride back from the Dectus Lift is annoying. Fortunately, rats can't climb ladders. Yeah, this is fine when the Frenzied Flame is around. Is pretty funny, actually. Alright, and that's the Frenzied Flame dealt with, so we can hop back down here. On the Anvil Hammer run, we will actually be getting the incantation that's in the chest up there, but on this run I will not. Because Ansbach is a reasonable man. Apollo, welcome in. Yes, we finished the Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword playthrough in the first hour, so we're now on a speedrun to the DLC. I also think I've figured out what it is that means I'm not two-handing the weapons anymore, and it's when you upgrade them, because you basically hand them over to somebody and then they hand it back, and I think it puts the weapon back in your main hand, but means you're not two-handing it anymore. Which is kind of annoying. But now I know, so hopefully that shouldn't trip me up in future. Ansbach's probably your favorite NPC. It's between Blythe and Egon for me, with an honorable mention to Alexander, but I do like Ansbach a lot as well. Alright, we shouldn't need the mixed physic for this, but I'm going to take it anyway because there is a grace that we can refresh our supplies at in a second. We're going to fight Vike, who is not too difficult of a fight. He can be annoying, but we can usually deal with him okay. The main thing that's annoying is if he does madness to you, which, yeah, I kind of goofed that up. But fortunately we have a grace very nearby, so it shouldn't take long to come back and refight him. I didn't mess up on any of the other bosses, so this should only be a temporary stumbling block. We could also do this later when we need to finish Vare's quest, but I just find it convenient to do now. Gives us some better flask upgrades too if you get past him to the church, so... Do you love Egon's dialogue? Yeah, I was so confused by Egon for the longest time, and then he turned into, like, the best character. So I was, enjoying the Bale fight a lot. And it didn't happen over and over again to the point where I was, like, sick of the dialogue after a certain point. Like, I actually managed to complete the Bale fight pretty reasonably. That's how that should have gone. Yeah, now we fought Vike. We get the fingerprint grape for later. Not that we need it on this run, but nice to have. And we're not going to collect the stuff from the Maiden yet because we don't have the Lord of Blood's favor. We just get the grace here, so we can come back and do that another time. We'll warp to the Dectus lift, take the lift up. I always forget that you can ride your horse in here until I try it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can. Alright. We skip the two cutscenes of us getting on an elevator and getting off an elevator. And from here, we're going to ride north to Loux Ruins to fight the demi-human queen who's in the cellar over here. So we can just skip around this side. There's a couple of demi-humans here in the forest, but none that are going to give us any trouble. Ride down the stairs at the back here, and we're in the fights. So once again, not going to worry about blood grease. We'll make sure I have the weapon equipped. And this should be quite easy, as long as I land my attacks. So... The other thing, once again, as with our last playthrough, is stamina management is a thing, which I need to be somewhat aware of. But that's Demi-Human Queen Gillica, who doesn't give us a whole lot of stuff, except behind her there is this chest that contains the Ritual Sword Talisman, which is what we're going to be putting in our second talisman slot from now on. From here, we're going to step back outside. Yeah, it's a pretty easy fight. Like, the Demi-Human Queens are not the most difficult of foes. So we'll drop down here, step out onto Erdtree Gazing Hill. Get the Grace here just because. Grab the Golden Seed. And then we're going to head towards Lanedell to get the 4 Golden Seeds from over there and grab the Outer Wall Battleground Grace, so that we can make our return to Lanedell a little bit later. Excuse me, lads, as you were. One of them powered up a sword there, I think. It's cute. While I'm here, I'm quickly going to grab this golden seed and head north for the map fragment, so I make sure I don't lose my way when I'm on the way to get the other golden seeds. By the way, we're an hour and 15 minutes into this run at this stage. Maybe slightly less than that. And we're already heading for Lanedell, so we're doing pretty well. You'll see how wild this gets in a second, but I normally make my run up the stairs there, but there's actually a great way you can get in the side. I'm just going to drink a flask because it also involves getting past a rune bear who can be kind of aggressive. It's the rune bear or the guards, and personally I would prefer the rune bear. On this occasion, at least. He's just a big guy who can absolutely stun you off the horse. But we're fine. We're through. It's okay. He doesn't kill the horse, for the record. He just, like, stuns you off of it. So you don't even need to spend a flask to get it back. Of course, we're going to avoid the tree sentinel fights. Yeah, bear jump scare, yes. We're going to grab these. And that. And we're going to head north. Probably going to head up the left-hand side here so we avoid the gargoyle fight. Because that enemy is completely optional. I just like fighting him every time. We'll get our other 2 golden seeds from here, and that's 6 golden seeds we've just got in the last, like, 5 minutes. We're going to avoid the obvious Margit bait and head up to Outer Wall Battleground. If we wanted to fight Margit there for the +1 Viridian Talisman or whatever it is, then we could, but I ain't fussed. So briefly here we can put another level or 2 into Vigor. We can add a few more golden seeds to our flasks. Add the sacred tear that we got as well. Now we're going to ride on down here. We're going to get the golden seed on this little stretch and avoid getting hit by catapults. Just about. Barely, but just about. Alright, now on the way down here, this is headed out towards Stormcaller Church on the road. But as we swing down past these ruins, we're going to jump up behind the Erdtree Guardian here, grab the Somber Smithing Stone 5 from the guy on the chair. We will actually get a Somber Smithing Stone 6 from fighting Magnus the Beastclaw, so that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone in that case. Wouldn't it be funny if the invasions gave me more trouble than the boss fights on this run? It'd be pretty funny. As usual, we're going to avoid getting struck by lightning through here. Hop down to the Stormcaller Church and grab the Sacred Tear there. Alright, and then from here, if we head out this way, I don't know for certain if there's like a good way down into the basin that's below here. So I think instead we are just going to walk back to Outer Wall Battleground. The other option is, if we'd gotten the Grace around here, we could have ridden north to where the Finger Reader is and then taken the warp across there, but this should be about the same amount of time. Like, it's not going to be that difficult. Please confirm you'll have to fight this annoying hippo in the DLC. No, you don't. There is a second way into the Shadow Keep, which we are going to be taking on this route. I assume by which hippo, they mean Golden Hippopotamus, who's the boss at the entrance to Shadow Keep. Having pasta? Nice. We had spaghetti and meatballs last night, which was very good. Just kind of avoid getting swatted at by some old ladies. Had spaghetti bolognese yesterday. That's almost what we had. Always a popular option in this house. Love a good spaghetti. You're making gnocchi? Nice. Are you making it from scratch or like store-bought gnocchi? Because I would love to try and make gnocchi from scratch at some point, but it seems like a lot of work. But I've seen Minnesota Toz make pasta from scratch a few times, so it's something I would love to do at some stage. Alright, we're going to drink the Wondrous Physic, because I think you can do that before you invade someone. And we're going to invade Magnus the Beastclaw before the dogs just straight up kill me. Yes, you can. Alright, wonderful. And I can drink it again. So he has Lion's Claw, which is a scary move if it hits you. But fortunately I have Bloodhound's Fang, and even though we are both relatively agile, I should be able to beat him. There we go. So that's Vare's quest completed. We can grab a few more blood roses from here, but we're going back to the Blood Rose Church anyway, so if anything, we probably need more root resin. There we go, there's our Somber 6. The dogs attack me immediately, but that's fine. We're just gonna circle around and get back out of here. One last thing that we need to do, and another spot we could potentially get blood roses, actually, is we're going to go down to the church that still remains here on the Altus Plateau where you normally do the Eleonora fight. And we are just going to go there to get the Sacred Tear to have some extra juice for our flasks. That does involve riding through this forest, so ignore everything you see here. Never actually had gnocchi. You'll get around to it someday. Highly recommend. I was at a restaurant back when my parents used to live, which did gnocchi in a lamb ragu. And if you can ever get that in an Italian restaurant, then I thoroughly recommend. It's incredible. Right, we could get a grace there, but we don't really need it. And I forget where you see the Spirit Spring here. I think it's maybe over there, but you can actually ride up the slope to get to the church as well, so I'll do that. I don't really know the Altus Plateau Basin area particularly well, so I kind of fly blind through that whole section. But yeah, here we go. There's a Sanguine Noble here who we don't have to fight. So I'm just going to get the Sacred Tear and then run out to this corner, which is, I'm fairly certain, a safe spot to access the map. Yep, there we go. Alright. So now we're going to walk back to EG and upgrade our weapon, and then we're going to go and fight Radagon.
Well, then I presume this.
Oh, we need a little bit more rune for that. Which is why it's nice to pick up some of these other runes along the way.
Something.
Okay, so we have Somber Smithing Stone +6. We need to make sure we're two-handing. Gonna rest at the Grace and make sure that all of our Sacred Tears are applied to the flasks. Okay, so now our flasks are at +9. Need to make sure we've got everything else done. Yeah, alright. We'll walk back to South Ray Lucaria Gate, go and see Vare, get hold of the Pureblood Knight's medal. This time we'll run through the graveyard and pick up a few more of these free golden runes. Get a little bit poisoned on the way, but that's fine. Run away. Yeah, lamb ragu was incredible. It was really, really good. I've tried to recreate that dish a couple of times at home, but I usually do it with, like, minced lamb. And it stirs through the gnocchi really well. Only ever had lamb with curry or Mediterranean food. Yeah, I mean, it's more common in places that don't eat beef or pork, so you find a lot of, like, Muslim countries, or like India obviously doesn't do like beef curry because cows are considered holy, so yeah. Alright, since we've already been to the Church of Inhibition, getting hold of the Maiden's Blood is nice and easy. Then we can go say hi to Vare again. little bit glitchy for some reason. I think since the DLC, the game has just been like that. Okay, now we have to sit through the awkward cutscene with Varre where he cuts our fingers off. Literally a cutscene.
You've completed, and with this, a knight. Now, this note.
The funny thing is he doesn't even give you the Pureblood Knight's medal until you talk to him after this, so you could just like let him do this to your finger and then just walk away.
Clench your teeth or something. Never, it is what you have. Oh.
Yay, okay. Now we're going to walk back to Church of the Plague and do another trick that I never thought I would do, which is jump off of the side of the cliff by the church here, and that's going to warp us into the arena where Radagon is. So you head out for basically like the longest bit of this. You jump, and then as soon as the camera tilts down, you jump again. It looks like I might have done that in the wrong place. Maybe it was the one over to the left from that. Yeah, okay, cool. So, like, if you jump off in the right place, you land on the ground in the desert, and it gives you the option to walk back to a stake of Marika. So I think I did that slightly wrong. But I think it must be this one instead. It's even put my runes here. Yeah, as soon as the camera tilts down, you're supposed to jump there. Let's see if I do that right the third time. Oh. Can I have my horse, please? There we go. Thank you. Alright, that's not working for some reason. The alternative is we can just go to Redmane and trigger the fight, but I'm pretty sure this works better. Just takes a little bit less time. Just not sure what I'm doing wrong about this bit. I also don't want to linger for too long just in case the Kindred of Rot takes an interest in me. Where's the kill plane? Where is it? I'm pretty sure it is this one. They didn't patch it out. I literally did this yesterday. Weird. Kindred of Rot sounds like a band you'd watch it download. Yes, it does. And having been to download, I can confirm. Okay, well, here's an alternative. I think we'll go to Redmane via the front door, because it doesn't take super long to do that anyway. And it also means that we can stop by the tower to get the talisman that works well with bows, which kind of eliminates a step from what we have to do later. So I'm actually okay with that. But yeah, like, for the next time I'll have that figured out, but I'm genuinely shocked that that didn't work better, because it was totally fine the last couple of times I did it over the weekend. And, yeah, there's not been a patch since then, so I genuinely don't know what happened there. Right at the corner of the one bit near the church, wait until the camera shifts and then jump again. Yes, yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing, but maybe I was jumping off the wrong bit. Yeah, like I said, I've done that a couple of times and it's worked out, so just something weird about the way I was doing it this time around, and I don't want to go and find a video that shows me how to do it in the meantime. But that's fine. We can make our way down through Caelid, because we'll probably come back here for some stuff later anyway. And this also allows us to get the map for this area and get another golden seed. So I'm on board. Just got to avoid these birds now. Are we just throwing ourselves off cliffs now? Apparently we are, but it's not working super well. Considering what it's supposed to do. Can you not? These birds are an absolute menace. I swear, they just follow you so far. A lot of enemies have like a specific range they like to patrol, and they won't really leave that range. With the birds, it seems to be just like all of Caelid falls under their purview. So, quite happy we're past that. Anyway, what I wanted to do is climb this tower and get hold of the Arrow's Sting talisman. There is a talisman in the DLC that's like an upgraded version of this. And I don't think they stack anymore. But apparently this guy had other ideas, so let's kill him. Apparently some of the dogs are killing some of the guards, so... Days like this, I wish I had the kick Ash of War just on speed dial. When you aggro a bird, now all of Caelid knows you're here. Pretty much, yes. So this is what we're after. Very good. And I know I can fall off this without taking damage, because it just happened to me a second ago involuntarily. So from here, at least we can get to this. The one giving range stacks, the damage one doesn't? Oh, okay. I think they patched that then. But, yeah, at least we have it for now, and then I need to figure out where you find the other one. I think it's in Fogrift Fort in the DLC, but I don't know how difficult that area is. You can get the bow that we're going for with literally, like, a couple of fights, and that's it. There's just one NPC invasion and a couple of other bits and pieces. So Blythe is here.
Seems we're fate now. The way ahead is...
Alright. And Alexander, who we've not met, but that's fine.
The stars have aligned. The festival is the festival.
Alright, we skip Radagon's cutscene. It's nighttime now for some reason. That's the other really funny thing. If you jump off the cliff, it changes the time of day, so this fight doesn't happen at night. Or it doesn't have to. And that aspect is quite funny. Yeah, long cutscene, I know. So, Soul Obsessions has a really great explanation of how to do this fight well. I am still going to be summoning guys because it's easier if Radagon is distracted. That's genuinely it. But we've got the Ritual Sword Talisman equipped. We've got the Radagon's Saw Seal Talisman equipped. We need to ideally dodge that arrow because my health needs to be higher. But if you ride away from Radagon at the start of the fight, he fires an arrow off into the distance like that, and then he doesn't bother firing any arrows at you anymore. He just runs at you. So while he's doing that, I'm going to summon some people. Also nice to get a casual greeting from Tragoth, as always. Alright. So here's the Radagon fight. As best we can manage it. Okay, that first part was pretty sloppy, but we can just go around summoning the other guys now. Alright, he's going to run this down at us. And... yep, a couple of them are already coming, which is good. We'll get these 3 summoned in. Gonna re-up the blood grease just to give myself a bit more of an edge here. Ah. Okay, this is potentially trouble. Okay, this is the wave attack. Boulders come at us. And then we want to dodge that. Ow. I'm so bad at this fight, normally. I think that attack is the one you're supposed to exploit because you can move around him way easier. But I am not good at that. Theralina, please, healing. Oh, there we go. Okay. We can try one more time. Yeah, this fight is a little volatile because Radagon is less predictable. Again, Soul Obsession has a really great, like, scripted Radagon fight that I'm not great at because it relies heavily on keeping your health up. So that you can do more damage with the Ritual Sword Talisman, and I am currently not doing that. But that's fine. We do not have to keep our runes at any point during this. Okay, once our lock-on with Radagon ends, that's fine. That means he's going to fire off into the distance. We can summon all of our friends. And this one. That's the attack we're meant to ideally avoid, because then he does this. And then we can roll in and punish. We get a stagger. I didn't have enough stamina to get in and deal any more damage. Okay, alright. We got him most of the way dead, though. Like, the general idea behind that phase is that you can... Oh, wrong way. You can deal enough damage to him that you even skip phase 2. Okay, there we go. Much better. Much less troublesome that time. Okina has died. Still feel bad for the horse? Absolutely. Alright. Now we're going to go and talk to Alexander.
Aye. One hit after that, and as such. As luck, if I can, you know, who could expect? Just you wait.
And then I'm going to go and grab my runes. Wherever they ended up. I don't think I had many, but nice to keep them. There we go. I knew it was a couple of thousand.
The glory of the and then a fall. I can't fathom he was a living.
Really funny to have Blythe's dialogue without any connection to Rani, but, you know. We're not here for Rani. 40 Vigor, we're going to put some points into Endurance as well. I think 20 Endurance is going to be a nice target, and then we'll just keep leveling Vigor from there. Now we have done that, we can head back to Table of Lost Grace. New items can be purchased from the Twin Maiden Husks. I forget whose items, but we're mostly here to get hold of this third talisman pouch. But then at this point we can get into Lanedell. And on that third talisman pouch is where we're going to be equipping the Carrion Filigree Crest for now. Just going to remove those because I don't want them distracting me. Alright, from Outer Wall Battlegrounds we're going to go and fight the Draconic Tree Sentinel, which should hopefully go better than the Radagon fight just did. Hey, Pixely, welcome in. Believe it or not, we are actually relatively close to the end of this process and relatively close to the beginning of the Elden Ring DLC. Just have to get a couple more items quickly and then go to Mohg Palace. So from here we do our usual dance around these golems. We drink the physic. We use the blood grease. And we roll up on this guy. Alright, not bad. Okay, I was counting on iframes there, but they didn't last as long as I thought. Always turns and does the fireball that time. If I'm honest, this fight and the Radagon fight are probably the ones for which all of the extra sacred tiers are worth going and getting, because you need flask upgrades for these. Especially if you want to keep your health high enough to have Ritual Sword Talisman have any effect. Ow. Oh, just got that one. Oh, dang it. We were so close. Okay, one more. This horse ate some chili. It did. Yeah, honestly, finessing this fight and keeping your health high is a little tricky. Okay, we need a bit more root resin if we want to keep high on blood grease, but you don't want to be high on blood grease, everyone. Don't do that. Right. Let's go again. This time. This time we'll do things a little differently. By which I mean lose faster. Man, why does it just keep spamming the fireballs? So many chain attacks, dude. Okay, that attack lasts for longer than I expected it to. Ah. There we go. Alright. Time to put a few more runes into Vigor. Yeah, those are the fights that aren't super scripted. From this point on, we should be good. And I mean that genuinely. We're going to be just fine. 3,000 should do. Plus, like, a handful more. The chat is now improvising an entire lore and history around a band named Kindred of Rot, and I'm here for it. Alright, so 1 hour 40, we're in Lanedell. We have a quick appointment in the sewers, and then it's off to Mohg Palace. I think the only reason we might not make it under 2 hours is just because it took me a second try to fight Radagon and the Draconic Tree Sentinel. The redo on Vike was not that costly time-wise either, so... Not like I'm on a timer. I mean, I would like to get done before the Olympics closing ceremony starts. Right, good news for anybody who likes the saxophone. We are going to be running past all of these guys instead of killing them like I normally do. Dropping down here, avoiding the gargoyles. We're even going to be avoiding fighting the Erd Tree avatar that spawns in this street. Because that guy's just annoying anyway. You can fight him if you want to for a Lord's Rune, but I don't think we need it. And this time we're going to be heading down here, jumping off right there, going straight down the well. And this is somewhere we have not been yet on these playthroughs, I'm pretty sure. Don't think we've had much to do in the underground roadside. The subterranean shunning grounds. But yeah, this way. Past a handful of rats, so apologies to those of you who are not keen on rats. It's going to be a little dark in here anyway, so hopefully you haven't seen them. So, all we need to do, now that we've already gotten a Somber Smithing Stone 8 from a different area, is grab this Grace. Avoid the omens, roll down this ladder. And do the Gargoyle Imp Gauntlet. Get to about here, jump down, get to about here, roll, end up down here, run through this pipe, get angry about the fact that there's a lobster down here. Why is there a lobster down here? I hate the fact that there are lobsters down here. Run around the side. Roll as much as possible to avoid this thing's attacks, because the lobsters down here are genuinely hateful. Get Mohg's Shackle. Roll into this, and we're good. Oh, and it still tries to hit me through the wall with its evil spray. We made it. So now we can actually use the Pure Blood Knight's medal to get to the audience grounds. From the sewer directly to Mohgwyn Palace. As before, we are going to be running through here, ignoring basically everything on the way aside from something that drops a bunch of runes. We've got more smithing stones in case we need those later. Alright, that should be it for exploding dudes. There is, of course, this. Which we'll just skirt around. Thank you for the boluses. Making our way downtown. Alright, this is the dark section, but fortunately enough, there are kind of ambiances that you can see that take us through to this area. We'll grab the Lord's Rune there. And then we head out to this doorway. Fortunately, the fog in here gives me a slightly better idea of where some of these landmarks are, so... nice and easy. We are a stone's throw from the DLC, my friends. All we should need to do is grab this. Oh, I have a feeling I understand why some of these fights were a little bit more difficult for me. I do quickly need to dodge through these guys. Behind him, open this chest, and grab this. Oh, just made it. All that is my blood. But now, we can rest at this grace. And I need to put the dexterity knot crystal tier on here, which may have slightly inhibited the amount of damage I was doing earlier. Now the question is, are my runes in a vaguely accessible place? The answer is not really. No. Okay, well in that case, we're going to walk back to Table of Lost Grace. Actually, no, wrong blacksmith. We're going to go to EG. But we can pop this. And we can pop this. And then we'll go see EG because he's right there and we don't have to introduce ourselves to him like we did with Hugh. Yeah, we did get exploded a little bit there. But now we should have everything we need to upgrade this to +10. So like I said, this is going to be how we proceed with these runs from now on, so we have to ditch the idea of let's go 46 and 22 for that one. Yeah, we have to ditch the idea, unfortunately, of not upgrading any weapons other than the one that is the iconic weapon for the run. What's the difference with going to Hugh? EG's just faster. And we've already met him previously because he sells you the Somber Smithing Stones and the Carrion Filigree Talisman. So, in terms of flask charges, we should be good. In terms of runes, we've got 6,000 left. Can we get another... Can we squeeze another level out of these? I want to say maybe. That's 15. Yeah, we should be able to do this. That's 24. Nice. Alright. And I'm going to very quickly run to the bathroom. Just so I can concentrate on this. But then after this we're going to fight Mohg and we'll be in the DLC. So be right back. Okay. This is the point at which we need to do one quick check. We're two-handing the weapon, and if I use my Flask of Wondrous Physic and check my status, the attack power right up there above my webcam says 730. That is the amount that our attack needs to be around in order to perform this fight successfully. We've got Radagon's Saw Seal, the Ritual Sword Talisman. Carrion Filigree Crest is optional, but we have it. We're going to equip Mohg's Shackle to this slot right here. When we enter the arena, we drink the Physic, we apply the Blood Grease, and we ready Mohg's Shackle to use. I don't know if I'll be able to do this first time, but I'm fairly certain I remember the order of events, so we're going to do our best here. We'll see how well I perform under pressure. Alright, so we're going to drink the Physic. We're going to apply the Blood Grease. We're going to ready Mohg's Shackle. We're two-handing. Let's do this. I'll let this cutscene play because I need a thumbnail. The most important thing is that if Mohg attacks at the beginning, we have to dodge successfully. Because without the Ritual Sword Talisman being active, which it has to be, like, you have to be at full health, we won't be dealing as much damage. The other thing I have to be very aware of is not rolling too much or sprinting too much, because that can deplete stamina. But if we die here, it's not a big deal, because we can repeat this fight. I might just need to go and get the supplies to craft some more blood grease.
Dearest Mikola, you must abide alone a while.
Interesting fact for anybody who didn't know, this guy is voiced by the guy who plays Izzy Hands in Our Flag Means Death.
To the birthplace of our dynasty.
Alright, let's go. Mohg fight. First thing we need to remember. Alright, we're probably not good, but let's do this anyway. Yep, didn't work out. Alright, we'll try one more time then. You need to be around his left-hand side so he doesn't hit you with the trident. But then we should be good. I unfortunately ended up on the wrong side of him. We've got one more blood grease and then we can just go and craft more. So this shouldn't be too far. Shouldn't be too bad. If you get lucky, he basically doesn't attack right at the beginning here, so okay, we should be good then. Okay, strafe around behind him. Shackle again. Move around to the left. Weapon art staggers him. We go in for the riposte. I'm now in the floor, but that's fine. And he's dead. That wasn't exactly to the script, but that was pretty good. Also, we pop a gold pickled foulfoot while he's monologuing, and that gives us extra runes. Mohg Loux! Alright, so 546,000 runes later, we rest at this grace. And there's the lady who talks to us about the DLC. So I'm about to put a ton of levels into dexterity, because Ansbach's bow has a dexterity requirement of 43. Thankfully, thanks to the fact that we're using Radagon's Source Seal, I think my dexterity right now is above that. Yeah, 44. Okay, so we could use it now. We would just be equipped with Radagon's Source Seal. We're going to go to the DLC, and then I'm going to wrap the stream.
I am Leda. Touch the withered arm to the realm of my compatriot like us, if you can find them. Come now, I will not be far.
Alright. Head to the realm of shadow. Thank you for the GGs, everyone. Yeah, I didn't quite follow the exact pattern you're supposed to, but we landed it anyway. It was fine. We stuck the landing. We're in the DLC. It is, just under 2 hours. 1 hour 57. Pretty darn good, if you ask me. That included a bathroom break and a couple of major boss refights, so not too shabby. Thank you once again to Soul Obsession for a pretty incredible, frankly, guide to getting to the DLC within a couple of hours. We are going to return on the next stream where Ansbach's bow will acquire Ansbach's bow. Until then, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out. We're going to be finding somebody else to raid here on Twitch, and I'm going to go watch the closing ceremony of the Olympics and have some dinner. Let's see. Who's out here streaming? Alright. I'm going to send you folks over to... In fact, I'm going to send you to somebody else who's streaming Elden Ring today. We're going to go and raid Macy, who's on her first Elden Ring playthrough. This is apparently day 4. She's just, like, exploring Limgrave, it looks like. We'll go say hi. Not sure what the adult language, adult conversation kind of level is over there, so if that's a concern for you, of course, feel free to click away, but Elden Ring is a mature-rated game, so expect mature-rated conversation and chat and everything else. I'm going to go and enjoy the Olympics. Hope you folks enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you on Tuesday for another Fantasy Minecraft stream, followed by a bit more of this Elden Ring playthrough. So until then, have yourselves a good one. Take care. Bye for now.